Washington Post journalist and critic of the Saudi regime Jamal Khashoggi was likely murdered by a group of Saudi assassins in the Saudi consulate in Turkey on October 2nd. Now, this whole story is just completely insane, but let me give you the summary of the report given by the Turkish officials. An assassination squad of 15 men disembarked 2 charter planes in the Turkish city of Istanbul Tuesday on the orders of the Saudi royal court. After checking into 2 hotels, the men laid in wait until Saudi journalist and dissident Jamal Khashoggi entered the Saudi consulate, where they killed him and then dismembered him with a bone saw. The assassins then left the country, flying to Cairo and Dubai. And Turkish sources claim that there is a video of the moment of him being killed inside the consulate. Now, before I discuss any more, let me show you this great 1-minute breakdown from The Guardian showing the CCTV footage leading up to and after his disappearance. And keep in mind also that there is no audio on this clip. So you could see near the end of that video that his wife was outside the consulate calling his phone, I imagine. So he was there apparently to get marriage papers, and he never came out. And there's no footage of him coming out of the building. There's only footage of him, or footage of a black van leaving the building, which is likely where he is, either kidnapped or taken out, if the Turkish officials are correct, taken out in pieces. Now, all the evidence right now points to a clearly well-orchestrated assassination by the Saudi regime. Now, let me give you a quick breakdown from the Bernie Sanders team here as to why the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman might have wanted Khashoggi killed.
Jamal Khashoggi had spoken out against the Saudi government and the country's powerful crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, condemning the lack of free speech in the ultra-conservative Islamic kingdom.
He is gathering all power within his hand, and it would be much better for him to allow a breathing space for critic, for Saudi intellectuals, Saudi writers, Saudi media to debate. I'm asking for people to be allowed to speak. I'm asking for the minimum.
Khashoggi was already living in self-imposed exile.
Why are you in quote-unquote self-exile?
Simply because I don't want to be arrested.
Even if this is a matter of detention by the Saudi authorities, or perhaps we shouldn't spare the word kidnapping of this individual, this still constitutes a very serious breach of international law and international diplomatic traditions.
We need to know what happened here. If this is true, if the Saudi regime murdered a journalist, critic in their own consulate, there must be accountability and there must be an unequivocal condemnation by the United States.
So you saw Bernie's reaction at the end there, and he isn't the only one that's freaking out about this. There are also Republicans that are also angry about the possibility of a journalist being killed because of an order by the Saudi Crown Prince. So this is an issue that has the potential to completely change U.S. relations with the Saudis. Now, why did Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman likely order this? Now, I mean, we saw the reasoning behind it, because this journalist was a critic of the Saudis, but why did he feel free to do it? So if this was under a normal presidency, and I know normal doesn't mean good, but a normal presidency, as in not Donald Trump, I don't know if this would have happened. I think the relationship that Trump has, and really just how weak Trump is on the international stage, has opened this lane, giving these countries like the Saudis to do what they want, to go farther and really push the line in terms of what they're able to do, or what they are usually able to do and get away with. So I don't know if there's really going to be any repercussions for this. So the Republicans talk a big game, which I'm going to show you right now, but whether they actually follow through is another question. So here is Lindsey Graham and Bob Corker talking about the possibility of this journalist being murdered.
I've never been more disturbed than I am right now. If this did in fact happen, if this man was murdered in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, that would cross every line of normality in the international community. If it did happen, they would be held to pay. If they're this brazen, it shows contempt. Contempt for everything that we stand for, contempt for the relationship. And I don't want to prejudge, but if it goes down the road that I'm worried about it going down, contempt will be met with contempt.
They'll be under intense pressure to, if they find that they were involved in this, the killing of an American citizen, to sanction heavily even the highest officials within the regime. My instincts say that there's no question the Saudi government did this, and my instincts say that they murdered him.
So Graham and Corker there actually do seem bothered by this. Now, whether they will actually take the next step and push for real changes between the U.S. and the Saudis remains to be seen. But I mean, right now, the relationship with the Saudis is based on cheap oil and arms sales. Like this is not a healthy relationship. This is not good for anyone. So to sit back, for the Trump administration to sit back and just allow this to happen, and so far they haven't been critical about this death or about this potential death. They seem to be sitting back and just allowing everyone else to talk and not actually coming in and saying anything. If they continue that, then it really shows these other nations that they are free to do pretty much whatever they want. They can kill journalists right under their noses and get away with it. So again, this is incredibly disturbing, but I mean, at least both Republicans and Democrats are aware that if this did in fact happen, and all the evidence right now points to it happening, that this is a real deal breaker in the relationship with the U.S. and the Saudis.